You're staring at their name on your phone screen. You aren't smiling. You aren't excited. You feel a heavy, sinking sense of exhaustion, the kind that signals, I cannot sustain this any longer. So, you don't reply. You turn the phone face down. You tell yourself you're just busy. Stop ignoring your own needs. You aren't busy. You're drained. You've been slowly depleting your own resources to keep others afloat, and you finally reach the point where you realize that the only way to thrive is to set firm limits on who gets your energy. We love to romanticize relationships, don't we? We talk about unconditional love and being the bigger person. But let's look at the cold, practical reality. Your mind isn't just a place for fuzzy feelings. It's a brilliant, high-speed accountant. For years, it has been running a ledger on every single interaction. It's been calculating the time you spent listening to repetitive rants. It's been logging the times you showed up for their crises while they were conveniently too busy when you needed support. It's been tracking the silence you get back when you finally ask for reciprocity. And here is the part that hurts the most. Your intuition has known they were an uneven partnership long before you did. You've been playing the reliable one like it's a badge of honor. It's not. It's a survival mechanism. You've been overfunctioning, absorbing everyone else's stress because you were worried that if you weren't useful, you'd be overlooked. You bought into the idea that your value is determined by how much you can endure. You thought if you just gave enough, if you were just good enough, they would eventually notice. But they didn't. They didn't see you. They saw a resource. They became dependent on your constant availability. They got comfortable in the space you provided, and they never once checked if you were doing okay. But your nervous system eventually reached its limit. That shutdown you feel, that numbness, that's not a malfunction. That is your internal failsafe. It's analyzing the data, the years of one-sided, draining, hollow interactions, and it's deciding to reallocate your resources. It's hitting the pause button because it knows that if you give one more ounce of energy to these specific dynamics, you will reach a point of complete burnout. And here is the most important truth. They don't value you as a person. They value the role you serve in their lives. You weren't a partner. You were an emotional safety net. You were the one who always picked up the phone, the one who lacked boundaries, the one who made their problems your own. They don't miss you. They miss the version of you that was easy to use. That's why they're frustrated now. That's why they call you distant, cold, or changed. They aren't mourning a connection. They're reacting because their source of consistent support has finally stopped providing. Stop feeling guilty for distancing yourself. You aren't ghosting. You're closing an unsustainable account. You're finally realizing that you've been paying a high price for a service that never delivered anything but exhaustion. The silence you're sitting in right now, the one that makes you feel so lonely, that's not loneliness. That's the sound of your own boundaries finally being established. You've spent your entire life auditioning for people who weren't even watching the show. You've been burning yourself out to keep them comfortable, and all they ever did was complain about the environment. You've treated your time like it was infinite, so it's no surprise they treated you like a utility rather than a person. So let them call you selfish. Let them complain that you've changed. You have. you finally realize that you aren't a martyr. You are a person with finite energy, and you are no longer willing to invest it in people who wouldn't do the same for you. Audit the names in your phone. Look at them. Be honest. Who stayed?
Who actually noticed you were hurting? Who fought for you when you stopped fighting for them? If the answer is nobody, then you didn't lose anything of value. You just reclaimed your personal space. Stop trying to be the bigger person. Being the bigger person is just a polite way of saying you're the first one to let yourself be taken for granted. Close the door. Lock it. Stop checking to see if they're knocking. They aren't coming to apologize. They're coming to ask for more. You aren't broken. You're just finished with what no longer serves you. And for the first time in your life, you get to decide who is worth the cost of your time. Don't waste it on the people who couldn't even handle the price of admission. Real, genuine connection doesn't feel like a debt. It doesn't feel like a monthly billing cycle. It feels like an exchange, a rhythm, not a one-way street. If you feel like you're being drained every time you interact with them, you're in a restrictive dynamic. If this hit home, if you're tired of being the one who gives until they're empty, stop apologizing. Leave a comment. Let's see who else is finally done being an emotional utility. Protect your peace, because no one else is going to do it for you. You have one life, and it is entirely too short to spend it subsidizing the lives of people who don't know your value. The audit is complete. Now, take your life back.